Hi, welcome back to the Conservative Commandos. I'm Rick Manning with George Landreth. If you'd like to hear a rebroadcast of today's show or for more information, please check out our websites, ccrsnetwork.com and ccrshow.com. Also, please like us, friend us, and follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Just look for the Conservative Commandos. Today I've got as a guest Carlo Dadasi, and Carla is an interesting person. I first met her on where she was on the other side interviewing me, actually, on a radio station up in Philadelphia. But more importantly, Carla is one of the true unsung heroes of the pro-life movement. And since we've spent so much time today talking about what's happened in Virginia, I wanted to have Carla on, not just to talk about Virginia, which everybody kind of knows about, but to talk about what the broader implications are and some of her experiences, and quite honestly, what's being done around the country and what you can help do if this is an issue that's concerned to you. And so Carla is a person who's founded an organization, and that organization is what, Carla?
Call1972.com. It's actually the first Fashion for Life apparel brand, and we also have the Call 1972 Foundation, which is the charitable arm. We're just trying to teach our kids, and actually all of America, that life is always in style.
Very good. That's so it's a unique way of going about this. Ironically, after the State of the Union address, the president came out very, very clearly and saying, just almost astonished that this could be even thought of killing a baby on the table. I mean, that was the shocker that I think really woke up a lot of people about what's going on in the real world, and it's been hidden from us. Carla, what kind of inspired you to get involved in this? Is this new, or is it something that you've been involved with for a while?
So back in 1990, I was in college, and there was a girl on the floor that had found herself pregnant, and certainly it was less than ideal situation for her. And I was shocked and horrified that I was the only one that was telling her that she was strong enough to have this baby, that adoption was a really great option. And the other, 15 girls on the floor were saying that abortion was the only option for her. And I guess I might have grown up in a very supported little world. My grandmothers, my mothers were very strong women, but they were always very pro-life, as were the men, because men are a part of this as well. So I had my first rally on my college campus back in 1990 something. And from there, I just always was very abreast of all the issues, what was happening with policy, not only in the state of Pennsylvania, where I'm from, but across all 50 states. And I knew that if we did not stand up and understand biology, that this is a life from the moment of conception, and we did not understand that this person inside of the mother's womb has the right to life, and it's been given that inalienable right by God, not the government. And President Trump also said in his final words when he was talking about protecting infants inside of the womb, he did indeed say that each one of us is made in the image of God. That's why we want to protect these children. Again, this right to life comes from God, not from our government. When we think that it comes from the government, this is a very, very slippery slope, and we find ourselves selling babies' body parts, like we were doing a couple of years ago, for $75 a pop. We also find ourselves doing infanticide, like they are now doing in the state of New York. And by the way, it's not just abortionists that can do abortions in the state of New York. It's also midwives, nurse practitioners, and physician's assistants, because they are claiming that in the rural areas where there's a high demand for abortions, that these people are going to be able to do abortions and infanticide. Let me tell you that here in the state of Pennsylvania, back in 2012, Gosnell, I will not call him a doctor, because doctors do not equal abortionists. I believe that people that perform abortions should actually have their licenses taken away. They should not be performing any kind of medicine at all. So Dr. I will not call him a doctor, Gosnell here in the state of Pennsylvania, is now serving 2 life sentences because he killed 2 women that he performed a late-term abortion on. There were complications, and they also found in his freezers, as well as outside in the trash cans, babies that were 38 weeks, 36 weeks, and 40 weeks. I've been pregnant 5 times. I did lose 2 children at about 10 to 12 weeks. I did hear their heartbeat inside of me at 10, 11 weeks. And when I went back in for my 12-week or 14-week visit, there wasn't a heartbeat anymore. So that was devastating to our family. But I do have 3 very healthy children. The reason that I explain that to you is because make no mistake that it is a life, a person inside of you when you are pregnant. And that child does have the right to life. And we have to change the language again, right? We're not going to have a baby. We have a baby from the moment of conception. We are not going to be a mom. We are a mom from the moment of conception. And we cannot leave the dads out either. If you find yourself in less than an ideal situation, and perhaps you're not married and you don't have the money to have a child, you are already a father. And I just want to tell all of you that you are strong enough to choose life every single solitary time. I've made a lot of hard decisions in my life. Hard decisions are the right decisions most often. And so sometimes choosing life is a very hard decision, but it's still the right decision. And we know that death breeds death, because that's what we see here in the country. 60 million people have not had the right to life since 1973. They've been denied that by our Supreme Court. We live in a culture of death in the United States of America right now. Blood money is being used to buy Porsches, Lamborghinis. Again, you can go to David Daleidon's Medical Center of Progress and watch all of his undercover videos. You can watch what the abortionists are saying about the money that they're using to buy big vacation houses. This is blood money. So again, I'd like my kids to grow up in a culture of life, and I think that we need to get back to that. Life breeds life.
And so the fashion that you've come up with to try to kind of popularize and take a different look at this and make it okay to be pro-life. It's what the website where people can get that at. Where is that again?
So it is col1972.com. Col stands for Culture of Life 1972. We want to get back to a culture of life in the year 1972 before we legalized abortion in this country. No one ever imagined that there would be 60 million people that did not have the right to life since 1973. So yes, all of our messaging is very fun, very sweet. We're saying that life is always in style. It's quiet messaging. We want kids and people, which has happened all the time already. We were down at the March for Life. I was at Students for Life speaking. We want people to say, what does col mean? I love your hat. And then this gives kids the opportunity to say, oh, it's a culture of life. We hope to get back to that. Oh, what does that mean? 60 million babies have not had the right to life since 1972. And I'm telling you, it's just opening up the door for conversation. And we know that the left is doing this with our kids, right? I don't even want to share some of the fashion lines and some of the organizations that are glamorizing death and glamorizing abortion to as young as 5-year-olds. They're equating abortion to going to see the dentist and having your wisdom teeth taken out. Let me tell you that that's a poisonous lie. It's not going to end well. It doesn't end well for people. It doesn't end well for our communities or for our societies. And I recommend that people go to col1972.com. Also go to Col1972 Foundation, which is right there. 10% of all of our purchases go right back to Celebration of Life organizations. I recommend that you read my kids' books, Julia Learns How to Vote Wisely. This is what really embarked me on kind of this mommy activist hat that I've been wearing the last 5 years. That teaches kids to vote for a pro-life candidate. Again, I want to get the kids at 5, 6, 7 years old. The left understands this. I don't think the right understands this.
Well, I think what you're talking about is really not just beating people over the head with facts, but instead kind of becoming part of their life and giving them a broader way of dealing with it. We'll be right back with Carla. We are the Conservative Commandos. And if you're listening to the Conservative Commandos, I'm Rick Manning. He's George Landreth, or somewhere. She's actually Carla DiDossi. And we're coming from the Conservative Commando Radio Network, broadcasts all across this great nation on stations in Florida, California, Pennsylvania, Nevada, Colorado, Wisconsin, and Georgia, and carried around the whole entire world on Al Gore's amazing internet with TalkStream Live, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, American Political Radio, and AM/FM 24/7. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Have you been leasing a property for your business or renting storage space? Are you tired of paying rent year after year? Call the experts at General Steel to own a building at up to 30% off now.
I'd been renting a building and paying someone else's mortgage, but General Steel showed me how I could own a space tailored to the needs of my business and for less than renting.
Call General Steel now at the number on your screen for our current building specials and to price your metal building system today.
My building's the dream I've had since finishing my house 14 years ago. I've been using it for a garage, workshop, and storage area for my tools and equipment, and I can't believe how great it turned out.
The economy is improving and the price of steel is expected to rise. Stop waiting. It could cost you thousands. Call General Steel now to see how you can own for less than you thought. Stop waiting to start your business or expand your operation. Call General Steel now.
Call 877-484-7002.
Everybody wants cheap airfare, but where do you find it? You call low-cost airlines. Their prices are direct from the airlines, and they're so low you can't find these fares published anywhere. They specialize in cheap flights, discount hotel rooms, cheap car rental rates, and great package deals anywhere around the world. Wherever you want to go, they can help you get there cheaply and with a best price guarantee. If you want the lowest prices on your airline tickets or other travel services, call now. That's right, call. That's the only way to get these rates. Experts are standing by 24/7 to get you the cheapest airfare and hotel rates available. So don't wait. Call right now for the lowest travel prices anywhere and for great last-minute travel deals too.
Call 888-431-0562. That's 888-431-0562. 888-431-0562. 888-431-0562.
Friend, do you remember when it felt good to withdraw your cash from the bank to expand a business, go on vacation, or buy a new car? Well, today, withdrawing your own cash has become a very risky business, according to The Secret War, a shocking new research report. I just read it. And folks, I was amazed to learn why banks are now required to spy on us for the government and then report any suspicious or unusual behavior. I suggest you get The Secret War free. Just call the number on the screen, no charge, from the folks at Swiss America. And get this, did you know simply spending cash today may be enough to have you branded as a potential criminal? That's right. The new war on cash is really a war against all freedom-loving Americans. The Secret War is yours free, so call the number on the screen and you can tell them Pat Boone gave you the number.
Dish TV is better than cable TV. Here's why. Dish has the nation's lowest TV price, along with an award-winning DVR that can skip commercials, record 8 shows at once, and get access to thousands of movies at your fingertips. Cable simply can't even compare. So the smart choice is to cut the cable and get Dish. Plus, you get all these great TV features, free HD DVR upgrade, free installation, and free movie channels. Say goodbye to cable and get more with Dish TV. 877-290-7764, 877-290-7764. As an added bonus, you can switch to Dish now and receive a $50 Visa gift card. So call now and get Dish TV. Call 877-290-7764, 877-290-7764. That's 877-290-7764. Limited time offer, 24-month commitment and credit qualification required. Cancellation fee, monthly equipment fees, and other restrictions apply. Promotion can change at any time.
My healthcare costs were going to double this year.
Doubled.
It was down to healthcare or my student loans.
I found a better way.
It's neighbors helping neighbors.
Liberty Health Share.
It's freedom from insurance.
At Liberty Health Share, we support each other and keep health costs down.
We're changing the way you're paying for health care.
This is the way it should be.
We're all in this together.
We're changing the way you pay for health care.
The movement to help each other is growing.
Liberty Health Share.
This is the way it should be.
This is how I make a difference.
Healthcare costs are skyrocketing. The third-party pay system is the culprit. It's taking money out of our pockets. Liberty Health Share has solved that issue by being self-pay patients sharing our medical bills. Liberty Health Share is a grassroots movement all across America. where people are abandoning the insurance model and instead are meeting each other's costs in community with one another.
The AM/FM 24/7 Roku channel broadcasts all of our shows on demand. To ensure reliability, we store and stream our content on the same servers as Netflix and Amazon. Our Roku channel is free to use, and anyone owning one of the more than 10 million Roku devices can watch our channel at no cost whatsoever. If you have a television show or are thinking about producing a show, you can be a part of AM/FM 24/7's Roku channel. Watch our great shows on your Roku device. It's free and more reliable than cable TV. Are you stuck with a timeshare? Did you attend the presentation and were seduced and enticed into buying that great vacation and investment? Now you're in the terrible position of trying to figure out a way to get out of that mess. You're not alone. For over 15 years, BuyYourTimeshare.com has been helping people like yourself get out of timeshare ownership. The fact is there is no resale market. Unscrupulous telemarketers call you and say they have buyers waiting, and the next thing that happens is you give them hundreds of dollars for an ad, and you'll never hear from them again. Another fact is that an identical timeshare to yours is being offered on eBay for $1, and no one is buying it. If you want out of your timeshare, I urge you to go to buyyourtimeshare.com or call them at 877-94-HELP-ME. That number again is 877-94-HELP-ME. Buyyourtimeshare.com. That's buyyourtimeshare.com. 877-94-HELP-ME.
Welcome back to the Conservative Commandos. I'm Rick Manning with George Landreth. If you'd like to hear a rebroadcast of today's show, or for more information, check out our websites, CCRSnetwork.com and CCRShow.com. And please like us, friend us, and follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Just look for the Conservative Commandos. You know, I'm here with Carla Dadasi, and she's leading the charge on really a revolutionary approach to trying to educate people about abortion and creating a culture of life in this country to counter the culture of death that's been so prevalent since Roe v. Wade. So, Carla, you know, I want to talk a little bit about the national implications of Virginia. We saw the horror that's stretched across the nation as people realized the governor of Virginia, Ralph Northam, was describing essentially killing a baby, an infant. He describes the baby as an infant, not as a clump of cells, not as a fetus, an infant on the delivery room table, and then they're going to keep it comfortable, and then they're going to say, let's have a discussion about whether to kill it. And oh, by the way, it's okay because we're only going to really do this with kids who are disabled because somehow they're less than. Just the most horrific thing that we've ever, I think I've seen, at least an admission of what really is going on. So, Carla, you know, what's happening across the country? And first of all, and secondly, I'd like to talk a little bit about what do you think the national implications are of the president pointing this out in the State of the Union speech?
So make no mistake that since 1973, the feminists and people that are pro-abortion have wanted our government to legalize abortion to 40 weeks, and I would even say beyond. You've had Hillary Clinton say that, you know, a 1-year-old and a 2-year-old really are still dependent on the mother, and that's annoying. So, you know, do they really have the right to life? Their life might be a little less important. And, you know, people cringe when I say that, but I'm telling you, if we do not stop this infanticide, they are going to continue their agenda with who deserves to live and who deserves to die. This is Nazi-esque. We already see this happening in Iceland, right? In Iceland, there's no more Down syndrome. They have obliterated those children. And I have done many an interview with families that have beautiful children who happen to have Down syndrome, and their lives are priceless, treasured, and amazing. And when you start choosing that kids with Down syndrome should have less of a life than someone else, should we be aborting all of the people that are sitting on murder row, like people that have committed murders, or people who are depressed or anxious? Like, where does it stop? Again, the left with their abortion agenda is very Nazi-esque. So when people say to me, did you ever think that this was going to happen, 21st century, we're doing infanticide? I say to them, yes. Yes, I did think that this was going to happen. And I actually think if we do not stop this here, the implications are we are going to be choosing that a 6-month-old really doesn't have the right to life. we're going to see terrible things like this happening. We already saw in the state of New York that a woman was murdered. She had life inside of her, and they said, well, it's not a double count murder. It's just a murder for the mom. So what are the implications of that? The implications are that across the country, if there's a mother who's pregnant and that husband or that grandparent or the man in her life loses a woman, he's also losing the baby, but whoever did that terrible two murderous act, is only going to serve one murder, not the murder of the child inside of the mother. So there's a lot of implications for this. Ultimately, women are the ones that are being harmed the most. Gosnell's clinic, there were 2 women that died in late-term abortions. We're going to see women, and it's interesting because the left is always claiming that they're championing for women's rights when I feel like they're constantly harming women. So I loved what President Trump said, that he supports life from the moment of conception. He is the most pro-life president that we have seen to date. He has streamed in live to the March for Life 2 years in a row. We have Pence and Karen Pence there. They understand that protecting life from the moment of conception is really important. This leads to euthanasia. We know that Margaret Sanger was a eugenicist. We know that she dated Ku Klux Klan members. We know that she was also the founder of Planned Parenthood. Let me tell you, Planned Parenthood has not veered very far from their original intentions with Margaret Sanger. They set up shop in every underprivileged Black neighborhood, 2 to 1. That is where they're setting up shop. And to date, the most dangerous place for a Black child is inside of the mother's womb. So you have abortionists that are making tons of money, millions of dollars, off of telling our Black women, our Black children, that it's just a blob of cells inside of them. And let me tell you also that there's an organization called Save the Storks that puts an ultrasound bus outside of as many Planned Parenthoods as they can, because we know for a fact that when moms go in and they see the baby at 10 weeks, 11 weeks, 12 weeks, they do not choose to walk up those steps of Planned Parenthood. This is why Planned Parenthood refuses to put ultrasounds in all of their clinics, because they know that women will choose life after they see their baby and hear the baby's heartbeat. So again, I just want you to understand that the left, Cuomo, the governor of Virginia, are lying to the American people because they want to make money. Planned Parenthood gives millions of dollars to these people to push their agenda of death.
In Virginia, in fact, they gave $2 million to Ralph Northam's campaign supporting his election. So, and the lieutenant governor of Virginia is in fact was a board member of the DC Metropolitan Area Planned Parenthood. So we see that they've kind of infested the entire system, and yet we give over $500 million of federal taxpayer dollars to Planned Parenthood every single year, and somehow we've been unable to stop that. Because here's the key, folks. You know what the Democrats are willing to do? They're willing to shut down the government in order to make sure Planned Parenthood gets their money. As a result, they hold the Republicans and say, we'll shut it down, and the Republicans don't want to be held responsible on it. That's how come Planned Parenthood keeps getting their money, until the Republicans say, we're shutting the government down because we're not going to pay for the culture of death any longer, and force the Democrats to choose. Until that occurs, your taxpayer dollars will continue to go for Planned Parenthood. Carla, we've only got about 2-3 minutes left here. Talk to a little bit about some of the things that are happening in the states, in Iowa, South Dakota, and elsewhere that are promising, not just the negatives in New York and Virginia.
Let's do it. So I want to talk to our Life Tribe directly. Make no mistake, we're winning, and I want to leave you with hope. State of Texas just defunded Planned Parenthood, and we hope that sweeps across all 49 states. Don't forget that we have Gorsuch and we have Kavanaugh on the Supreme Court, and potentially another one that we can get that understands that life starts at the moment of conception. And then I was at the March for Life. There were over 600,000 marchers. 75% of them were young kids. They are rejecting the lie and the culture of death. And again, I encourage all of you to go to col1972.com. Look at our stuff, share it with friends. Col1972 official on all social media. When you go to our sites, you're going to see that it is all happy, joyful, victorious, because that is what life is. Life is beautiful. Life is glamorous. And we should all be talking about it and encouraging life. Every moment is a gift. Every breath is a gift from the moment of conception until life's final breath. That we're creating a life posse, a life community, and we welcome you to join us.
Great. And let me point out something. We've got on the culture of death represented by Ralph Northam, represented by Andrew Cuomo up in both men, who are representing the culture of death in New York and Virginia. In Iowa and in South Dakota, we have something different. Tell us what's different about Iowa and South Dakota in terms of who's leading the charge.
We have two women there who are leading the charge because they understand that when we hear a heartbeat inside of the mom, that means that there's life. Listen, puppy dogs have more of a right to life in the United States of America right now. So we are trying to get heartbeat bills passed, and they are being passed. One was just passed in Iowa, and so we're looking to North Dakota, I believe, to pass the next one, South Dakota. And this is, again, a huge win. If we can understand that at 10 weeks, which is about the time that we can hear a heartbeat inside of the mother, that we can stop abortions, that's probably going to save hundreds of thousands of lives every year. It's going to save thousands every day.
Absolutely. It's COL 1972. Check out the website. It's Carla Didasi. She's going around the country spreading the message. Hold up your book again, Carla.
So this is Julia Leon's How to Protect Life Wisely. It's also in Spanish. So that's actually in
Very
Spanish.
good. Thank you very much.
Have you been leasing a property for your business or renting storage space? Are you tired of paying rent year after year? Call the experts at General Steel to own a building at up to 30% off now.
I'd been renting a building and paying someone else's mortgage, but General Steel showed me how I could own a space tailored to the needs of my business and for less than renting.
Call General Steel now at the number on your screen for our current building specials and to price your metal building system today.
My building's the dream I've had since finishing my house 14 years ago. I've been using it for a garage, workshop, and storage area for my tools and equipment, and I can't believe how great it turned out.
The economy is improving and the price of steel is expected to rise. Stop waiting. It could cost you thousands. Call General Steel now to see how you can own for less than you thought. Stop waiting to start your business or expand your operation. Call General Steel now.
Call 877-484-7002.
Everybody wants cheap airfare, but where do you find it? You call low-cost airlines. Their prices are direct from the airlines, and they're so low you can't find these fares published anywhere. They specialize in cheap flights, discount hotel rooms, cheap car rental rates, and great package deals anywhere around the world. Wherever you want to go, they can help you get there cheaply and with a best price guarantee. If you want the lowest prices on your airline tickets or other travel services, call now. That's right, call. That's the only way to get these rates. Experts are standing by 24/7 to get you the cheapest airfare and hotel rates available. So don't wait. Call right now for the lowest travel prices anywhere and for great last-minute travel deals too.
Call 888-431-0562. That's 888-431-0562. 888-431-0562. 888-431-0562.
Friend, do you remember when it felt good to withdraw your cash from the bank to expand a business, go on vacation, or buy a new car? Well, today, withdrawing your own cash has become a very risky business, according to The Secret War, a shocking new research report. I just read it. And folks, I was amazed to learn why banks are now required to spy on us for the government and then report any suspicious or unusual behavior. I suggest you get The Secret War free. Just call the number on the screen, no charge, from the folks at Swiss America. And get this, did you know simply spending cash today may be enough to have you branded as a potential criminal? That's right. The new war on cash is really a war against all freedom-loving Americans. The Secret War is yours free, so call the number on the screen and you can tell them Pat Boone gave you the number.
Dish TV is better than cable TV. Here's why. Dish has the nation's lowest TV price, along with an award-winning DVR that can skip commercials, record 8 shows at once, and get access to thousands of movies at your fingertips. Cable simply can't even compare. So the smart choice is to cut the cable and get Dish. Plus, you get all these great TV features, free HD DVR upgrade, free installation, and free movie channels. Say goodbye to cable and get more with Dish TV. 877-290-7764, 877-290-7764. As an added bonus, you can switch to Dish now and receive a $50 Visa gift card. So call now and get Dish TV. Call 877-290-7764, 877-290-7764. That's 877-290-7764. Limited time offer, 24-month commitment and credit qualification required. Cancellation fee, monthly equipment fees, and other restrictions apply. Promotion can change at any time.
My healthcare costs were going to double this year.
Doubled.
Doubled.
It was down to healthcare or my student loans.
I found a better way.
It's neighbors helping neighbors.
Liberty Health Share. It's freedom from insurance. At Liberty Health Share, we support each other and keep health costs down. We're changing the way you're paying for health care.
This is the way it should be.
We're all in this together.
Together.
We're changing the way you pay for health care.
The movement to help each other is growing.
Liberty Health Share.
This is the way it should be.
This is how I make a difference.
Healthcare costs are skyrocketing. The third-party pay system is the culprit. It's taking money out of our pockets. Liberty Health Share has solved that issue by being self-pay patients sharing our medical bills. Liberty Health Share is a grassroots movement all across America where people are abandoning the insurance model and instead are meeting each other's costs in community with one another.
The AM/FM 24/7 Roku channel broadcasts all of our shows on demand. To ensure reliability, we store and stream our content on the same servers as Netflix and Amazon. Our Roku channel is free to use, and anyone owning one of the more than 10 million Roku devices can watch our channel at no cost whatsoever. If you have a television show or are thinking about producing a show, you can be a part of AM/FM 24/7's Roku channel. Watch our great shows on your Roku device. It's free and more reliable than cable TV. Are you stuck with a timeshare? Did you attend the presentation and were seduced and enticed into buying that great vacation and investment? Now you're in the terrible position of trying to figure out a way to get out of that mess. You're not alone. For over 15 years, BuyYourTimeshare.com has been helping people like yourself get out of timeshare ownership. The fact is there is no resale market. Unscrupulous telemarketers call you and say they have buyers waiting, and the next thing that happens is you give them hundreds of dollars for an ad, and you'll never hear from them again. Another fact is that an identical timeshare to yours is being offered on eBay for $1, and no one is buying it. If you want out of your timeshare, I urge you to go to buyyourtimeshare.com or call them at 877-94-HELP-ME. That number again is 877-94-HELP-ME. BuyYourTimeshare.com. That's BuyYourTimeshare.com. 877-94-HELP-ME.
Welcome back to the Conservative Commandos. I'm Rick Manning, and I'm here today with Eric Caron, who is a guy who I got to know at CPAC. We hung out a little bit together, and really interesting guy. And I just wanted to have him on the air so you guys can all kind of get to know him and hear some things he has to say. He is a security expert. He has worked for Homeland Security. He's worked for a customs area. So he understands the flow of goods and across our borders and what that means, which is so important in the border fight that we're having. He also has worked overseas, doing security around the world overseas, and and really is one of those people who's a real expert on things. Eric has a new book. It's called Switched On, The Heart and Mind of a Special Agent. And it kind of gives a sense of kind of how it works and how he views it and how special agents view the world that they work in, trying to protect us, quite honestly, and we're just blissfully happy, not really realizing all the threats that are out there. Obviously, as always, if you'd like to hear a rebroadcast of today's show, and I think this last 20 minutes of the show, I think you're really going to enjoy. You may want to get that rebroadcast. Or for more information, check out our website, CCRSnetwork.com or CCRShow.com. And please like us, friend us, and follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Just look for the Conservative Commandos. Eric, before we get too far, first of all, welcome to Conservative Commandos. Before we get too far, How would somebody, if they want to find out about your book, I'm going to get this right up front, and we'll get it a few other times. How would they find out how to follow you or find out more about the book?
Hey, Richard, first, thank you so much for having me. First, go to Switched On Life to buy the book. But more importantly, there's tips there as well relating to your safety and how to stay safe. 5 to Survive is a document that references and talks about how to survive an active shooter. And so there's some tips on the website as well. So I encourage people to take a look at those tips because it just might save your life.
Thank you. That's a great kind of thing that everybody should check into, because it's as strange as it seems. The active shooter world is, we're in I know in churches in my county, there are former police officers who are literally, they're there to provide security. And
yes,
they're serving, they're attending, but they're also providing security, and we all know that. And we didn't used to have to worry about those kind of things, but in today's world, the whole world's kind of insane in that regard. So I'm glad there's a personal element to it also. Eric, I don't think it's lost on anybody that America's at an existential crisis about whether or not we're going to be a country or not. And tell us a little bit about the kind of things you saw happen in terms of goods and things going across the border, and why having a completely open border actually matters beyond the obvious immigration issue, but matters from a standpoint of things we buy on our shelves, the things we buy over the internet and the like.
Thank you. Thanks again, Richard. Listen, let me, if I may, first of all, a short walk down memory lane. In that, in 1971, this government declared a war on drugs. Public enemy number one at the time by the Nixon administration was drugs. Some 30 years later, here we are, 9/11 happens, now there's a war on terror. And, this president, quite frankly, is the only one who's taking security and making it his number one concern, and is willing to put money behind it and resources. Because he understands without security, we end up like Venezuela. And as good as our economy is rolling along right now, if there's no security, there's no trade. And so we need to understand that. That's why the president's making it his number one priority. So not only are we concerned about people, but we're concerned about contraband, i.e., counterfeit goods coming into America, that counterfeit pharmaceuticals, counterfeit perfumes that are laced with cancer-causing carcinogens. Of course, weapons coming into America, WMD agents from state sponsors of terror, such as Iran. We have to be concerned that those countries are planning to attack us, those state sponsors and those terror organizations. And of course, we have the cartels operating out there and operating here in America. And we have to understand, Richard, the nexus, the relationship between cartels, drug groups, and terror groups. There's a hybrid in many respects, right? And that they're working hand in glove in many respects. Hey, I need counterfeit passports. Hey, I need some weapons. So that's important to understand, is that there's a relationship between international cartels and terror groups.
I'd read that that Hezbollah, as just one example, we focus on Al Qaeda and more recently ISIS, but that there are a number of Middle Eastern terror groups that have that embedded in Venezuela and have worked their way up to into the Central America, into Mexico, and are in fact working closely with those cartels in terms of putting people and materiel in place in order to create real problems for us. Is that accurate?
Very accurate. Richard, I was an agent for 25 years. I worked mostly national security. So that's involving proliferation, doing covert operations involving proliferation and terror. And I can tell you, working with the Joint Terrorism Task Forces that are stationed around the country, I can tell you, yes, terrorists are working closely with the cartels in Central and South America, and they are exploiting our southern border. And so we have to understand, where we get tough the bad guys go someplace else. So we have to understand it's not just the southern border that we need to secure. It's all our borders. It's our airports. It's our seaports. It's our land ports. Because I know for a fact, I'm getting information that bad guys, that southwest border is heating up. So where are they going to go? They're going to get on fishing. They're going to get on fishing boats and other vessels coming from that Pacific up to the East Coast. And that's how immigrants will be smuggled into the U.S. So it's planes, trains, and automobiles and all those ports of entry that we need to secure, because the bad guys will exploit that, the weakest link.
Well, it's no doubt, everybody, at least anybody from the 80s remembers Miami Vice and the cigarette boats and everything else, and kind of perhaps a glamorized version of what happens. But the reality is we have a shoreline that goes from Maine all the way around Florida to Texas. And then we have a shoreline on the other side that most people don't realize is from California to Washington State is a huge shoreline, and even the Colorado River with a relatively short stay on the river in Mexico, you can end up in Arizona on the Arizona-California border pretty rapidly there in the southern desert. And quite honestly, anybody who's been there knows that is a desolate desert area, but it's a very vulnerable area. And so you have a lot of different places. I've been concerned recently about the attempts by the Chinese to take over, and some Middle Eastern countries as well, to take over management of ports. So recently there was controversy over the port of Long Beach, which is in Southern California, and by a number of military installations. It's just south of LA. Is that a legitimate concern? Why would the Chinese want to manage the port of Long Beach, of all things?
Well, Richard, it's one of the largest ports of entry, seaports in the U.S. The container traffic is one of the highest, besides probably New York and Newark. Mm-hmm. And, the Chinese would love to take control of that port because they get to control not only what comes into the U.S. or goes out of the U.S., and some of that contraband, i.e. counterfeits, but they get to insert their own agents, government agents, into those facilities. And they get to monitor covertly what we're doing. And it's I think a recipe for disaster. And I think, due to the efforts of many people that was shut down, and I think for good reason.
Yeah, it was really pretty concerning. I know that Americans for Limited Government was very concerned about it and let the Trump administration know that. I was actually born in Long Beach, so I'm a little familiar with the area. And although I was only there for 3 years, and then elsewhere in Southern California, but it seemed to me that you had a real problem on where the people who own the facility, who essentially manage the facility. If the Chinese manage the export, where they're exporting the goods from, and they owned where they're exporting the goods to, and essentially had management control, no matter how many external agents you had in, they'd have a system in place that could defeat that. And it just seemed to me from a national security perspective that it was dangerous. Eric, what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick break. We're up against the clock here. And then we'll be back with Eric Karen to talk more about customs, security, and some of the threats facing our country. You're listening to Conservative Commandos. I'm Rick Manning from Americans for Limited Government, and we're coming to you from the Conservative Commandos Radio Network, broadcast all across this great nation on stations in Florida, California, Pennsylvania, Nevada, Colorado, Wisconsin, and Georgia, and carried around the entire world on the intranet. The names of where we're at: TalkStream Live, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, American Political Radio, and AM FM 24/7. Basically, if you're not finding us, you're not trying. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Have you been leasing a property for your business or renting storage space? Are you tired of paying rent year after year? Call the experts at General Steel to own a building at up to 30% off now.
I'd been renting a building and paying someone else's mortgage, but General Steel showed me how I could own a space tailored to the needs of my business and for less than renting.
Call General Steel now at the number on your screen for our current building specials and to price your metal building system today.
My building's the dream I've had since finishing my house 14 years ago. I've been using it for a garage, workshop, and storage area for my tools and equipment, and I can't believe how great it turned out.
The economy is improving and the price of steel is expected to rise. Stop waiting. It could cost you thousands. Call General Steel now to see how you can own for less than you thought. Stop waiting to start your business or expand your operation. Call General Steel now.
Call 877-484-7002.
Everybody wants cheap airfare, but where do you find it? You call low-cost airlines. Their prices are direct from the airlines, and they're so low you can't find these fares published anywhere. They specialize in cheap flights, discount hotel rooms, cheap car rental rates, and great package deals anywhere around the world. Wherever you want to go, they can help you get there cheaply and with a best price guarantee. If you want the lowest prices on your airline tickets or other travel services, call now. That's right, call. That's the only way to get these rates. Experts are standing by 24/7 to get you the cheapest airfare and hotel rates available. So don't wait. Call right now for the lowest travel prices anywhere and for great last-minute travel deals too.
Call 888-431-0562. That's 888-431-0562. 888-431-0562. 888-431-0562.
Friend, do you remember when it felt good to withdraw your cash from the bank to expand a business, go on vacation, or buy a new car? Well, today, withdrawing your own cash has become a very risky business, according to The Secret War, a shocking new research report. I just read it. And folks, I was amazed to learn why banks are now required to spy on us for the government and then report any suspicious or unusual behavior. I suggest you get The Secret War free. Just call the number on the screen, no charge, from the folks at Swiss America. And get this, did you know simply spending cash today may be enough to have you branded as a potential criminal? That's right. The new war on cash is really a war against all freedom-loving Americans. The Secret War is yours free, so call the number on the screen and you can tell them Pat Boone gave you the number.
Dish TV is better than cable TV. Here's why. Dish has the nation's lowest TV price, along with an award-winning DVR that can skip commercials, record 8 shows at once, and get access to thousands of movies at your fingertips. Cable simply can't even compare. So the smart choice is to cut the cable and get Dish. Plus, you get all these great TV features, free HD DVR upgrade, free installation, and free movie channels. Say goodbye to cable and get more with Dish TV. 877-290-7764, 877-290-7764. As an added bonus, you can switch to Dish now and receive a $50 Visa gift card. So call now and get Dish TV. Call 877-290-7764, 877-290-7764. That's 877-290-7764. Limited time offer, 24-month commitment and credit qualification required. Cancellation fee, monthly equipment fees, and other restrictions apply. Promotion can change at any time.
My healthcare costs were going to double this year.
Doubled.
Doubled.
It was down to healthcare or my student loans.
I found a better way.
It's neighbors helping neighbors.
Liberty Health Share. It's freedom from insurance. At Liberty Health Share, we support each other and keep health costs down. We're changing the way you're paying for health care.
This is the way it should be.
We're all in this together.
Together.
We're changing the way you pay for health care.
The movement to help each other is growing.
Liberty.
Liberty Health Share. This is the way it should be.
This is how I make a difference.
Healthcare costs are skyrocketing. The third-party pay system is the culprit. It's taking money out of our pockets. Liberty Health Share has solved that issue by being self-pay patients sharing our medical bills. Liberty Health Share is a grassroots movement all across America where people are abandoning the insurance model and instead are meeting each other's costs in community with one another.
The AM/FM 24/7 Roku channel broadcasts all of our shows on demand. To ensure reliability, we store and stream our content on the same servers as Netflix and Amazon. Our Roku channel is free to use, and anyone owning one of the more than 10 million Roku devices can watch our channel at no cost whatsoever. If you have a television show or are thinking about producing a show, you can be a part of AM/FM 24/7's Roku channel. Watch our great shows on your Roku device. It's free and more reliable than cable TV. Are you stuck with a timeshare? Did you attend the presentation and were seduced and enticed into buying that great vacation and investment? Now you're in the terrible position of trying to figure out a way to get out of that mess. You're not alone. For over 15 years, BuyYourTimeshare.com has been helping people like yourself get out of timeshare ownership. The fact is there is no resale market. Unscrupulous telemarketers call you and say they have buyers waiting, and the next thing that happens is you give them hundreds of dollars for an ad, and you'll never hear from them again. Another fact is that an identical timeshare to yours is being offered on eBay for $1, and no one is buying it. If you want out of your timeshare, I urge you to go to buyyourtimeshare.com or call them at 877-94-HELP-ME. That number again is 877-94-HELP-ME. Buyyourtimeshare.com. That's buyyourtimeshare.com. 877-94-HELP-ME.
Welcome back to the Conservative Commandos. I'm Rick Manning, and obviously my guest host, George Landreth, is listening off to the side, but he is, but won't be joining us again for the rest of the show. If you'd like to hear a rebroadcast of today's show, or for more information, please check out our website, CCRSnetwork.com and CCRShow.com. And please like us, friend us, and follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Just look for Conservative Commandos. You know, I've got Eric Karen with me today, and Eric is a special agent, worked in U.S. Customs for a number of years, has worked security around the world for a lot of big corporations and the like. But most importantly, he's a guy who understands how the illicit contraband flows over borders and how to interdict that. You know, Eric, you must be kind of bemused and in pain a little bit listening to some of the Democrats who are running for president talking about our border and our border security, and some of the things they're saying. You know, Beto O'Rourke just jumped into the race. What did Beto have to say?
Thanks, Richard. Well, I was gassed when I heard him say climate change is our number one security threat against our country. And you know, I'm like, the numbers are staggering. 70,000 people died due just to opioid overdoses in the last several years. 70,000. Never mind the countless homicides. I mean, what? I mean, we're probably looking at 50,000 homicides due to drugs in America. We're looking at 100,000 body bags. And so, yeah, it's quite frankly, it's shocking to listen to some of our politicians on the liberal side talk about opening the border. Why have a border? Just let people come in. And my response, Richard, is, Richard, you have a door in your home. I have a door on my home. And I close it, I lock it. This president understands that we do not have a door on our home, on our country. And he wants to close it. And all he wants to do is say to people, you must knock before you enter. And then we'll decide if you can come in or not. What's wrong with that?
It's common sense. It's common sense. You know, one of the areas that I think we miss out on and we cease to think about too much. We're talking about the opioid addictions, but the Chinese in the lost wars to the British in the 19th century. Mm-hmm. They're called the Opium Wars. And the Chinese, it seems to me that what we're seeing with fentanyl in particular,
yes,
which I'll let you explain what it is, but with fentanyl in particular, which is largely coming from China, that what we're seeing is an opium war in reverse, where they are essentially trying to flood our streets with deadly materials that kill our populace in order to defeat us in a essentially a Cold War. That they're fighting. Tell us a little bit about how that works and how we can kind of respond to that.
Well, Richard, you know, yes, China and Mexico are responsible for most of that synthetic fentanyl opioid coming into America, and they're manufacturing it and they're smuggling it into the U.S. And you know, with that, it's going to various cities throughout America, and you know, the overdose and the crime that comes with it, the fentanyl and the distribution of fentanyl is unbelievable. I've been in many drug houses in my career, and it's not pretty. It's not just hey, this is an addict doing. You hit these houses, they got drugs, they got guns, they're involved in human trafficking as well in many cases. We have to wake up because it is an epidemic. Quite frankly, DEA under the Obama administration hit the alarm for years. And, they asked Eric Holder and they asked the White House, sound the alarm regarding this fentanyl issue. And nobody listened. It's been documented, Richard. It's not Eric making this up. DEA and DEA administrator went to the White House, went to Eric Holder and said, we have a problem on our hand in 2013, 14, 15. Nobody listened. This president is just quite frankly trying to be preventive and saying, we know that thousands of kilos of cocaine are coming into America by land, air, and sea each day. We know there's thousands of kilos of fentanyl coming into America each day by the same methods. We need to stop it because whole cities, quite frankly, are going away. We need to wake up.
Yeah, it's because when you talk about 70,000 people dying, Americans dying of opioid addiction.
That's a combination, Richard, if I may, between Vietnam, casualties, deaths, Vietnam, Iraq, and Afghanistan.
Yeah, every year. And so we look at that number of people dying every year. But we also know that not everybody's dying. Their lives are being killed by virtue of addiction and the like. And essentially through MS-13, what we've allowed is the cartels to do, and MS-13 is just one example, but what we've allowed them to do is that we've allowed them to put their soldiers on our streets. And so when you sit there and you see the homicide rates in places like Chicago and the like, that's because the cartels are taking over the streets of Chicago and they're killing the people who used to run the drug trade.
Yes, sir.
Get right down to it. It is a hostile takeover by the cartels in Mexico of the streets of places like Chicago. And that's why we're seeing this homicide spurge, but it's a much more brutal thing because they have no familial ties. They're there to destroy. Am I right?
Yes, absolutely, sir. MS-13 needs to be designated as a terrorist organization along with the cartels. We need to take the gloves off. Look at Chicago. Just in the last few years, 2,000 deaths. In city of Chicago, just in the last few years, 2,000 deaths. Listen, I know what, Richard, it's because it's what I do for a living, but I have the occasion to listen to Chicago PD at night occasionally at 12 o'clock. You know how many shots fired calls they get at night? You listen to Chicago PD at night like I do, it is unbelievable. Shots fired. I mean, it's like, where am I?
It sounds like we're sitting in the green zone in the middle of Baghdad and at the height of the Gulf War, getting in an insurgent situation, and we're just sitting there sitting ducks.
Yes, sir.
Cops go out and do that.
People argue about the stats regarding crimes that illegal aliens commit and how many homicides they commit. You know what? I've seen numbers from 500 a year to over 1,000 a year, right? But you know and I know, Richard, just one is too many because it didn't have to happen. You or me, God forbid, would have to bury a family member due to illegal alien being present. That's one too many in our country. One too many. So, these stats, 500, 1,000 deaths due to illegal aliens, you know what? One is too many.
Well, and I hate to say this because I'm always bemused because people wanted to talk during the Obama years about Black Lives Matter. Well, if Black Lives Matter, blacks and Hispanics are disproportionately negatively impacted by this war, this opium war being run against us. They are the ones who live in those cities. They're the ones who live in the areas that are having the constant gunfire. They're the ones with their little 7-year-old kids being shot in drive-bys. They're the ones paying this price. And I believe that if the mainstream media had this happening in their neighborhoods, this would be over. It would not be allowed. We'd have that border closed because they would say we will not allow murderers to come into our neighborhoods. But instead, because it's happening in neighborhoods that they don't frequent, they're okay with it. They're immune from it. They don't want to talk about it. They'd rather talk about, and quite honestly, a horrific situation, 6,000 miles around the globe that happened, than talk about the horrific situation that's happening on the streets of Chicago every single day.
That's right.
And
or Baltimore.
Or Baltimore, Maryland, just up the road from Washington, D.C., which is a city that essentially, I live in Maryland, so I know a little bit, but it cleaned itself up and had about a 20-year run of being a place that was really up and coming. And then after one incident of rioting, we essentially turned that city back over to people who are not good people. And there's homicides, and quite honestly, a city that was on the move up is on a serious decline right now because of just the criminality on the streets. And it's all about the opioid.
Richard, I mean, just recently, last week, we saw the brutal killing of a teenager by MS-13 who basically sounded the alarm and said, "Hey, listen, Mom, they're coming after me." And he said, "Don't kill my family, kill me," basically. And they did. They stabbed him, 100 times and dumped his body in Stafford, Virginia.
Stafford, Virginia. Didn't they also light him on fire, light his body on fire? I mean, this was brutal. It was a message. It was a message to everybody else. You better shut up.
So I ask you, is MS-13 a terror organization to those citizens in that community?
So the answer is very clear. President Trump needs to declare the cartels, along with MS-13, terror organizations, and that opens up the doors for a lot of other activity that can be done to try to interdict and potentially go to Mexico and say to Mexico, "You want a trade deal? Fine. We're going to get this situation resolved." So
absolutely.
And on that note, we'll leave you. One more. Your book again is
Switched On: The Heart and Mind of a Special Agent. It is a glimpse into the heart and mind of a special agent. This special agent, and it's dedicated to all men and women of law enforcement. Because, quite frankly, Richard, we don't pay them enough, and we don't give them enough respect.
Eric, Karen, thank you very much for joining us.
Have you been leasing a property for your business or renting storage space? Are you tired of paying rent year after year? Call the experts at General Steel to own a building at up to 30% off now.
I'd been renting a building and paying someone else's mortgage, but General Steel showed me how I could own a space tailored to the needs of my business and for less than renting.
Call General Steel now at the number on your screen for our current building specials and to price your metal building system today.
My building's the dream I've had since finishing my house 14 years ago. I've been using it for a garage, workshop, and storage area for my tools and equipment, and I can't believe how great it turned out.
The economy is improving and the price of steel is expected to rise. Stop waiting. It could cost you thousands. Call General Steel now to see how you can own for less than you thought. Stop waiting to start your business or expand your operation. Call General Steel now.
Call 877-484-7002.
Everybody wants cheap airfare, but where do you find it? You call low-cost airlines. Their prices are direct from the airlines, and they're so low you can't find these fares published anywhere. They specialize in cheap flights, discount hotel rooms, cheap car rental rates, and great package deals anywhere around the world. Wherever you want to go, they can help you get there cheaply and with a best price guarantee. If you want the lowest prices on your airline tickets or other travel services, call now. That's right, call. That's the only way to get these rates. Experts are standing by 24/7 to get you the cheapest airfare and hotel rates available. So don't wait. Call right now for the lowest travel prices anywhere and for great last-minute travel deals too.
Call 888-431-0562. That's 888-431-0562. 888-431-0562. 888-431-0562.
AM/FM 24/7 Roku channel broadcasts all of our shows on demand. To ensure reliability, we store and stream our content on the same servers as Netflix and Amazon. Our Roku channel is free to use, and anyone owning one of the more than 10 million Roku devices can watch our channel at no cost whatsoever. If you have a television show or are thinking about producing a show, you can be a part of AM/FM 24/7's Roku channel. Watch our great shows on your Roku device. It's free and more reliable than cable TV. Are you stuck with a timeshare? Did you attend the presentation and were seduced and enticed into buying that great vacation and investment? Now you're in the terrible position of trying to figure out a way to get out of that mess. You're not alone. For over 15 years, BuyYourTimeshare.com has been helping people like yourself get out of timeshare ownership. The fact is there is no resale market. Unscrupulous telemarketers call you and say they have buyers waiting, and the next thing that happens is you give them hundreds of dollars for an ad, and you'll never hear from them again. Another fact is that an identical timeshare to yours is being offered on eBay for $1, and no one is buying it. If you want out of your timeshare, I urge you to go to buyyourtimeshare.com or call them at 877-94-HELP-ME. That number again is 877-94-HELP-ME. Buyyourtimeshare.com. That's buyyourtimeshare.com. 877-94-HELP-ME.
Dish TV is better than cable TV. Here's why. Dish has the nation's lowest TV price, along with an award-winning DVR that can skip commercials, record 8 shows at once, and get access to thousands of movies at your fingertips. Cable simply can't even compare. So the smart choice is to cut the cable and get Dish. Plus, you get all these great TV features, free HD DVR upgrade, free installation, and free movie channels. Say goodbye to cable and get more with Dish TV. 877-290-7764, 877-290-7764. As an added bonus, you can switch to Dish now and receive a $50 Visa gift card. So call now and get Dish TV. Call 877-290-7764, 877-290-7764. That's 877-290-7764. Limited time offer, 24-month commitment and credit qualification required. Cancellation fee, monthly equipment fees, and other restrictions apply. Promotion can change at any time.
Hi, this is Rick Manning from Conservative Commandos. And, we're here at CPAC. We're enjoying a beautiful day at CPAC with lots of interesting and great guests. But, one person who I've been anxious to talk to is Sidney Powell. Sidney is a former U.S. attorney. She worked for 10 years as a U.S. attorney under 3 different presidents with a tremendous nonpartisan background. And she wrote a book in 2014 that's pretty amazing. It's called License to Lie, about some of the things that were happening in the U.S. Department of Justice. So this whole deep state thing that we've been talking about for the last few years isn't a new phenomenon. It's something that Sidney came up against while she was at the Department of Justice. Sidney, what do we need to know about your experience, A, and B, what you found in terms that can be found in License to Lie?
Well, I was an appellate section chief in western Texas and then in northern Texas under 9 different U.S. attorneys from both political parties for almost 10 years. None of the U.S. attorneys I worked for would have tolerated the behavior I've seen in the last 20 years for 2 seconds. I mean, in the last 20 years, we've experienced an unprecedented weaponization and politicization of the Department of Justice and all the federal agencies, becoming increasingly worse. The worst being under the Obama years of the Department of Justice and Eric Holder and, of course, the entire Obama administration. So I was in private practice, actually, when I saw the transformation happen. I represented Arthur Andersen as a consultant when they were indicted, and then I represented 4 Merrill Lynch executives in one of the offshoots of the Enron litigation. And what I saw and identified and then felt compelled to write about, I mean, I literally prayed I would not have to write this book because it meant the system had broken down at every point for me to have to write it. But I identified a core group of prosecutors who were willing to do absolutely anything to win. They were all named to the Enron task force, handpicked by Robert Mueller and Michael Chertoff and Larry Thompson and people during the Bush administration. But then, except for one of them who was promoted by Bush, they were all promoted to the highest halls of the government and the most elite law firms by the Obama administration. So these prosecutors who had literally made up crimes, destroyed Arthur Andersen and 85,000 jobs, only to be reversed by the Supreme Court 9-0. Unanimous Supreme Court slammed them. Arthur Andersen had not committed a crime. They had taken all the criminal intent out of the jury instructions to get the conviction. They destroyed the company and knew they were doing that as soon as they indicted it, all for nothing. And then they get promoted to Chief White House Counsel, General Counsel, Deputy Director of the FBI, that's Mr. Andrew Weissman. acting assistant attorney general of the criminal division, who then micromanaged the corrupt prosecution of Alaska Senator Ted Stevens under the Bush administration.
Which, by the way, the Ted Stevens prosecution ended up flipping the Senate to having 60 Democrats, as he was convicted just before the election.
Right.
And in fact, Mark Begich ended up winning as a result of that, only to have that conviction overturned afterwards. But the election itself gave Obama the 60 votes he needed.
Exactly, enabled the passage of Obamacare. Exactly. So the Ted Stevens the Ted Stevens story is interwoven in the book too, because that prosecutor was one of the prosecutors in the Merrill Lynch case. And in our Merrill Lynch case, they literally made up crimes against 4 Merrill Lynch executives. But not only did they make up a crime, they criminalized innocent conduct, and they sent 4 Merrill Lynch executives to prison for up to a year on this fake indictment on phony evidence, while they hid the evidence that showed they were innocent.
Okay, now you need to refresh me on some of these players. Okay, Robert Mueller was the FBI director at this time,
yes.
Right? And Andrew Weissman. Why do I recognize the name Andrew Weissman?
Because he's now on Robert Mueller's what I call Creeps on a Mission, and I have a T-shirt to go with that at the website creepsonamission.com. In fact, I brought you one.
Thank you.
Yes. Creeps on a mission to destroy the president, with Mr. Mueller, Mr. Weissman, Mr. Comey, Stroke, Page, Bruce Orr, and McCabe behind the battered seal of the Department of Just Us.
Wow.
Because that's exactly what they are. And, they literally made up the whole Russia collusion narrative to cover up the whole Hillary Clinton email scandal that I think they were all probably part of in more ways than one.
Well, that's the most amazing part of this. But I think it's important, in order to understand what's happening in terms of the Mueller investigation as a whole and some of the prosecutions that have occurred, I think it's important to understand the history of some of these individuals. And let's take Andrew Weissman in particular, because everything I've read about Andrew Weissman is he is an individual who will break every rule and deny defendants every right, and will essentially create prosecutions out of whole cloth to destroy people without any compunction, without any rule of law.
That's exactly what he did, and it's all documented in the book. And as soon as I published the book in 2014, I uploaded all the documents to my website, licensedtolie.com, so people can look at the documents themselves. Nobody has challenged any of it for its accuracy, and all the dialogue is from real court cases. So yes, it's all there in black and white for people to read.
So on the Arthur Anderson case, and this has always intrigued me, and the Enron case similarly, on the Arthur Anderson case, most people won't remember what that was. And we've got about 2 minutes. Can you kind of just in 60 seconds give me what the Arthur Anderson case was, who Arthur Anderson was, and how they got destroyed?
Arthur Anderson was the gold standard for accounting firms for over 75 years. They were indicted by Mr. Weissman and Leslie Caldwell at the time for DOJ for shredding documents, but they indicted them under the witness tampering statute and another obstruction of justice statute, which didn't even apply. They pieced together parts of 2 different statutes to make a crime out of something that wasn't, and destroyed the company when they did that, only to be reversed later by the Supreme Court 9-0.
So if it sounds at all familiar to you in terms of this tactic, isn't that some of the things that we've been seeing in some of these Mueller prosecutions, where we get essentially people being destroyed for relatively minor process crimes that may or may not have even existed?
Exactly, and some of those counts of different indictments would not stand up where they appealed, but people are pleading guilty because they simply can't afford to fight it. I would encourage everybody to read Judge Jed Rakoff's article, Why the Innocent Plead Guilty, because there's a lot of that going on now.
If the FBI came to you and wanted to talk to you about anything, would you talk to them?
Absolutely not.
And that is the advice today from conservative commandos. And I have to tell you, this is one of the most stunning situations. I grew up in a household where you believe the police. I grew up in a household where my dad ran the Police Appreciation Committee for Corona, California, at a time when police were under attack in the 1960s. I grew up in a house where you trusted the policeman was your friend.
Right.
And we are now in a sorry state where these folks have taken it so we can no longer trust the law enforcement. And it's just a sad state of affairs. But we are up against the clock, and I wanted to just thank everybody for listening. Sidney Powell, once again, Which website do you want them to go to?
Licensed2lie.com or sydneypowell.com.
Licensed2lie.com, sydneypowell.com. Check it out and learn what's really going on and has been for quite a while with the Department of Justice and the FBI. This is Rick Manning, Conservative Commandos. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
Have you been leasing a property for your business or renting storage space? Are you tired of paying rent year after year? Call the experts at General Steel to own a building at up to 30% off now.
I'd been renting a building and paying someone else's mortgage, but General Steel showed me how I could own a space tailored to the needs of my business and for less than renting.
Call General Steel now at the number on your screen for our current building specials and to price your metal building system today.
My building's the dream I've had since finishing my house 14 years ago. I've been using it for a garage, workshop, and storage area for my tools and equipment, and I can't believe how great it turned out.
The economy is improving and the price of steel is expected to rise. Stop waiting. It could cost you thousands. Call General Steel now to see how you can own for less than you thought. Stop waiting to start your business or expand your operation. Call General Steel now.
Call 877-484-7002.
Everybody wants cheap airfare, but where do you find it? You call low-cost airlines. Their prices are direct from the airlines, and they're so low you can't find these fares published anywhere. They specialize in cheap flights, discount hotel rooms, cheap car rental rates, and great package deals anywhere around the world. Wherever you want to go, they can help you get there cheaply and with a best price guarantee. If you want the lowest prices on your airline tickets or other travel services, call now. That's right, call. That's the only way to get these rates. Experts are standing by 24/7 to get you the cheapest airfare and hotel rates available. So don't wait. Call right now for the lowest travel prices anywhere and for great last-minute travel deals too.
Call 888-431-0562. That's 888-431-0562. 888-431-0562. 888-431-0562.
Friend, do you remember when it felt good to withdraw your cash from the bank to expand a business, go on vacation, or buy a new car? Well, today, withdrawing your own cash has become a very risky business, according to The Secret War, a shocking new research report. I just read it. And folks, I was amazed to learn why banks are now required to spy on us for the government and then report any suspicious or unusual behavior. I suggest you get The Secret War free. Just call the number on the screen, no charge, from the folks at Swiss America. And get this, did you know simply spending cash today may be enough to have you branded as a potential criminal? That's right. The new war on cash is really a war against all freedom-loving Americans. The Secret War is yours free, so call the number on the screen and you can tell them Pat Boone gave you the number.
We're back at CPAC, Conservative Political Action Committee, and we are here for Conservative Commando Radio Network and TV Network, AUN in Northern California, and on stick radio around the country in 8 different states. And today, I've got a lot of really great guests, but the best guest, the one who I've been looking forward to talk to most, is John Miller. John's with Blaze TV, and John gets to cover the president at the White House, which has got to be just amazing. John, tell me a little bit about what that's like. What's it like to be in the White House covering the president?
By the way, I have to imagine you say that to everyone. You're the guest you're looking most forward to. Just a hunch. It's fascinating to actually be there. I mean, we're in a news cycle where it's not just every day there's something new. If you go to the bathroom, you're missing a huge story. So it's certainly exciting. It's certainly nonstop. It's certainly stressful at times. I was just saying before we actually went on air with the interview, the president's is coming back from Hanoi, Vietnam. And this is actually a time where reporters can actually get stuff done and can actually report on stuff, because so much of the day is consumed with just trying to scream questions and trying to get stuff in and trying to get noticed and all that kind of stuff. So, when the president leaves town, it's actually a nice opportunity to kind of focus on things and kind of, get more investigative work out there. So, so it's nice to get away from the crazy scrum that is the White House press pool and White House press room and all of that.
Well, that's one of the questions I've always had, and just from an insider perspective, and I think a lot of America would like to know how it actually works. And, we see Jim Acosta basically making an ass of himself and trying to elevate himself to so he can sell a book or get a TV show or something. But most people who are in that press room are working hard trying to report the news for the American people. How does that actually work on the day-to-day basis?
The way it works is that Jim has gotten himself in a position, he might be making an idiot of himself, but it's working for him because there is no story. He's not going to report on anything good that the president is doing. So he makes himself the story and then makes the attacks on him part of the negative story. So he creates these negative stories about the president for himself. For the rest of the people working in the room, it's kind of just they're doing their job. I mean, a lot of them are, I will say this, a lot of them are of the same mentality as Jim, and he just kind of does it better than them, to be quite honest. But a lot of them want to be noticed. A lot of them want to just kind of...
There's an ego.
Yeah.
factor.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And remember, over a year ago, I don't know if you remember, the cameras were shut off, and the reporters, they had a fit because the whole thing for them is standing up and this big performance art thing. So it's there are a few reporters in the room where that's not the job for them, and you got to respect those people. But really, the insider's perspective is that the part I most resent about it is that there is this kind of insiders club mentality. And you wonder how you get all the same stories coming out of the White House. And it is because they all kind of talk to each other. They kind of all say, what's the biggest story? And then they all report on the stories the same exact way.
Right.
And so everyone's reporting the exact same thing. So, I mean, what we do it a little bit differently is we kind of try to look at, what is the story that not everyone's talking about? And more importantly, what are the stories that actually affect the American people?
Right.
Because, it's nice that, staff shakeup, this random staffer that nobody's ever heard about who, puts papers, in the shelf, that person got canned. That's the story that the White House press corps wants to focus on. But that doesn't actually affect everyday Americans. Economy does, jobs do, regulations do, all that stuff. So, those are the stories that we like to focus on and how the policies coming out of the White House actually affect the average American at home.
So typically, what America knows is we have, stand up, Sarah Sanders gets in front of you, and maybe brings some experts in, or she just does a Q&A back and forth. And that tends to be what drives the news cycle, at least on television. But there's a lot of other work that goes into getting other stories out of the White House, because there's 1,000 things being done there every day, and every one's of interest to somebody. So how do you determine what you're going to report on, and what matters and what you think matters? And because that editorial process is probably the most important editorial process.
Sure.
Because there's a limited number of minutes on the air.
Sure. And, a lot of times people think that the big story is always going to be at the White House. A lot of times the biggest White House story is not actually within the campus of the White House. You go either to the Capitol, or even we just talked to, angel moms. You go talk to people who have lost their kids to illegal immigration, who are close with the president, who have been kind of informing these policies and kind of influencing these policies and seeing how these policies affect them. A lot of times the big story is not going to be, at the White House. That's the story that everyone's going to be talking about, which, you don't want to report on the exact same thing, especially if you don't have an interesting angle. So a lot of times the story is not where you think it is, and a lot of times it's something little. A few months ago, I don't know if you remember, the president signed pictures of the angel moms, their deceased kids, and USA Today, a lot of mainstream media outlets made this big deal about it. They said, oh, the president's terrible. How dare it's so gosh for him to sign their faces. Turned out no one reached out to the angel moms to ask them, did you want this? It turns out they said, yes, the president, we wanted him. We asked him specifically in the Oval Office to do that. And that was a little story that actually ended up getting huge. The president retweeted it just because it was a little nugget that wasn't being reported on, that was actually being reported on incorrectly, that, just needed a little bit of light shed on it and some truth shed on it. So a lot of times the story is really small, but can actually be a bigger deal.
And what that shows is that, every reporter has bias. Every reporter has a point of view. The question is, are you going to try to get the truth?
Right.
Or are you going to try to just write what your point of view, what your hot take is? And in today's internet world and Twitter world, hot takes matter. Truth, it gets lost in the wayside a little bit.
I mean, it's incredible with Twitter. It's terrible, but if it's an incorrect thing, often it will do so much better on Twitter than the truth, and it's a little discouraging. I, as a White House reporter, wear my bias on my sleeve. I think that that's more honest with my viewers and readers, just because Jim Acosta is not an objective reporter.
Right.
April Ryan is not an objective reporter, and they all claim they are. So I think it's a more honest relationship with people who are consuming your content. If you just tell them, hey, here's where I'm coming from. I'm always going to be with the facts. I'm going to stick to the facts, and the facts are always going to be at the center of what I do. But I'm not going to tell you I'm objective and don't have opinions on this, because opinions seep through, whether it's your word choice or whether it's what you choose to omit from a story. All of that stuff is obviously informed by your worldview. So just acknowledge it, and then people can know where you're coming from.
That's why one of the questions I always have is the selection of who gets to be in the White House Press Corps. It seems like the sort of static White House Press Corps, where there's the mainstream media has 9 out of 10 seats at the table, actually is a disservice to the public because you're not getting a disparate point of view, whether it's from the far left or from the far right or from mainstream publication like The Blaze.
Well, here's the thing: is that we have a White House which is very friendly to smaller outlets like The Blaze, and they're letting other outlets in there. But the White House Press Corps is still controlled by the White House Press Association, White House Correspondents Association,
right?
And they are the ones, and they're still very much a very heavily liberal-leaning organization. So they're the ones who get to decide who's in the pool. They're the ones who get to decide who sits where in the room. That's why the front row is still CNN, NBC, ABC, New York Times, Washington Post. So they still control very much who covers the White House and how. So we've gotten our foot in there. We've kind of broken through a little bit, but it's still difficult because there's still an old club that controls.
And my point has always been they might control where people sit, but they don't control who gets called on. Right. And that's the one place where the White House has some control. John, I really appreciate you taking the time with us today.
Absolutely.
And informing people a little bit about how it works on the inside. How can people follow you?
You can follow me on Twitter at MillerStream, and we also just released a new podcast of my show. It's White House Brief is the name of it. White House Brief. You can search it in iTunes or Omni or Google Play, wherever you get your podcast. White House Brief. Search it and subscribe to it.
White House Brief. I'm going to be checking it out. I hope all of our listeners do. Thank you very much for joining us. We're from the Conservative Commandos. I'm Rick Manning, and I just appreciate you all watching us today from CPAC. And we will be now moving on to the next segment.
AM/FM 24/7 Roku channel broadcasts all of our shows on demand. To ensure reliability, we store and stream our content on the same servers as Netflix and Amazon. Our Roku channel is free to use, and anyone owning one of the more than 10 million Roku devices can watch our channel at no cost whatsoever. If you have a television show or are thinking about producing a show, you can be a part of AM/FM 24/7's Roku channel. Watch our great shows on your Roku device. It's free and more reliable than cable TV. Are you stuck with a timeshare? Did you attend the presentation and were seduced and enticed into buying that great vacation and investment? Now you're in the terrible position of trying to figure out a way to get out of that mess. You're not alone. For over 15 years, BuyYourTimeshare.com has been helping people like yourself get out of timeshare ownership. The fact is, there is no resale market. Unscrupulous telemarketers call you and say they have buyers waiting, and the next thing that happens is you give them hundreds of dollars for an ad, and you'll never hear from them again. Another fact is that an identical timeshare to yours is being offered on eBay for $1, and no one is buying it. If you want out of your timeshare, I urge you to go to BuyYourTimeshare.com or call them at 877-94-HELP-ME. That number again is 877-94-HELP-ME. BuyYourTimeshare.com. That's BuyYourTimeshare.com. 877-94-HELP-ME.
Dish TV is better than cable TV. Here's why. Dish has the nation's lowest TV price, along with an award-winning DVR that can skip commercials, record 8 shows at once, and get access to thousands of movies at your fingertips. Cable simply can't even compare. So the smart choice is to cut the cable and get Dish. Plus, you get all these great TV features, free HD DVR upgrade, free installation, and free movie channels. Say goodbye to cable and get more with Dish TV. 877-290-7764, 877-290-7764. As an added bonus, you can switch to Dish now and receive a $50 Visa gift card. So call now and get Dish TV. Call 877-290-7764, 877-290-7764. That's 877-290-7764. Limited time offer, 24-month commitment and credit qualification required. Cancellation fee, monthly equipment fees, and other restrictions apply. Promotion can change at any time.
Welcome back to the Conservative Commandos. I'm Rick Manning, and normally with George Landreth, but he's gone for the day. So here we are with Frank Gaffney, who's with Center for Security Policy, among many other endeavors that he's involved in. If you'd like to hear a broadcast of today's show or for more information, please check out our websites, CCRSnetwork.com and CCRShow.com. Also, please like us, friend us, and follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Just look for the Conservative Commandos. Hey, Frank, before we get too far into this, how would somebody track you on Twitter? How would they be able to follow you on Twitter?
I believe I'm at Frank Gaffney.
That's what
Gaffney. How about
How
that?
did you come up with that?
I guess that I'm an early adopter.
Early adopter, indeed. No, Frank's a great guy. He's a good friend of mine and one of the true patriots here in Washington, D.C. who's fighting the good fight on a wide variety of issues. One thing that you've just kind of started, at least I get a sense it's just starting, is something called Committee on the Present Danger. And I know you've had some organizational meetings on that. Frank is going to give you a colorful view of Washington, D.C. because he is outdoors, and we're going to get all that live ambiance of outdoor broadcasts. So pay no attention to the honking horns. So Committee on the Present Danger. Give us a little sense of what that is and why you started embarking on that.
Well, thanks, Rich. And let me just say about you, having said those nice things about me, I regard you as one of my true lodestars in a town in which there are very few people whose judgment and whose integrity and whose pure intelligence and intellect are as impressive as are yours. You really stand out, and I have been privileged to know you and have the chance to work with you. Now, having said all that,
Okay.
it's
Hold
the
on.
full title of...
The key word here, the key word is load. Okay. So thank you.
Star is the key word. The full title is Committee on the Present Danger, China, because that is the focus of this particular initiative, which has had three incarnations previously, one in the 1950s, one in the 1970s that was particularly consequential, both of which were focused on the Soviet Union. Then there was one shortly after 9/11 that for a time operated to try to help raise awareness about the various threats that we were facing in the way of what I call Sharia supremacism. I don't think they called it that, but that was the basic thrust of it. And then about, I guess a month or so ago now, a little over, we formally launched something that's been incubating for a time because the problem has been obvious to some of us, at least, for quite some time, and that is that Communist China, and specifically the Communist Chinese Party that has run or misruled, really, China for almost 70 years now, is engaged in an unrestricted war against the United States, and again, has been for decades. And this is not generally understood. The enormity of the threat that is posed to us as a result is very, very poorly recognized and mostly ignored. And the need for corrective action at the most urgent pace possible is, again, something that has eluded most people, certainly in the elites. So this group has come together sort of inspired by one that, as I say, informed and actually had as a member a guy by the name of Ronald Reagan, and then served as a very important sort of helpmate in fashioning his strategy for dealing with the totalitarian communist regime that sought our destruction, namely that of the Soviet Union. And then, in the persons of a number of those people, once he was elected president, went on to serve him in office to try to execute that strategy. So we hope that this one will be as consequential as was that in the mid-1970s, that it will help our current president, Donald Trump, who basically gets what China is up to and wants to protect our country against it, and that we will be able not only to raise the awareness of the American people about the threats we're facing from China, but we'll be able to define and help implement equally important strategies for coping with this totalitarian communist regime that seeks our destruction, just as the Soviets did.
Obviously, this is a challenge that is multifaceted. You say unrestricted kind of warfare across a whole number of boundaries. Talk to me about one of the ones that's gotten a little bit of attention, but not nearly enough, and that is the intellectual property theft and the whole how that comes into play, especially as a result of because the president is currently negotiating a trade agreement with China that would, in fact, restrict some of the intellectual property, would try to rein in the intellectual property aspect of this. Put that into context for us.
Well, I just have to say, it remains to be seen whether the trade deal will address this problem, let alone do so in a way that is actually going to change Chinese behavior. He's talked about the need for structural change, and I must tell you, I don't see much sign that that's in the offing. But for the purposes of discussion, let's simply say he's right to want to address it. We're losing, by some estimates, $500 billion a year. That's a B as in boy, oh boy, $1 billion a year in the form of expropriated technology and intellectual property of other kinds that the Chinese have simply been ripping off. And that is an unbelievable windfall for them. They don't have to go design, say, fifth generation stealth fighter aircraft. They simply steal the plans for ours, and then they manufacture them, as they like to say, with Chinese characteristics. And here's the point, Rick, that the theft of intellectual property is just one manifestation of the kind of economic warfare that Communist China is engaged in, which again is just one part of the kind of unrestricted warfare. By the way, that's not my term. That's the term that was adopted by two senior colonels of the People's Liberation Army back in 1999. They put out a book by that title that laid out, 20 different ways that they could use varying vectors of attack to engage in unrestricted warfare against the United States, economic warfare, the theft of intellectual property, the use of cyber warfare, attacks on our capital markets, electromagnetic pulse attacks, and on and on. And this is the trouble, is that much of that playbook they have actually operationalized and been using against us to our great detriment.
In many respects, we're playing whack-a-mole with them because there's so many different. They're playing three-dimensional chess, and we're playing checkers. But
they're playing Go, which makes three-dimensional chess look like child's play.
Yes,
or checkers.
So what we have is, but I don't want to de-emphasize this, but I think it's important that people understand some just really base elements to it. And the federal government is trying to do a few things. Our federal government is trying to do a few things. They did a CFIUS reform, which makes it so a very, very poor system for protecting our technology is, in fact, slightly better. Not anywhere near where it needs to be, but slightly better. They took a real interest in trying to make sure that Huawei, which is attempting to effectively dominate the whole 5G space from a technology, at least is not able to steamroll the one U.S. company that's in the game in terms of trying to build the next 5G chip, Qualcomm. So they've done that. And have pushed a lot of those buttons. But the fact is, we're a sieve. We're a technological sieve. And so there's a whole number of things this administration needs to do. If you were to sit down with the president, you were to say 3 things that he should do, and I've got about 30 seconds here. 3 things he should do, maybe 1 thing he should do. What's the 1 thing they should do right now?
We need the president to clear the necessary spectrum currently operated by the Department of Defense, called the Sub-C spectrum, that will power and enable, I believe, us to compete decisively against the Chinese, Huawei, and other People's Liberation Army operations that are trying to dominate the world's mobile and wireless technology for the future.
Very good. We're going to take a quick break. Last master, right back with Frank. In the meantime, we are the Conservative Commando Radio Network, and you're hearing us on Florida and California, Pennsylvania, Nevada, Colorado, Wisconsin, Georgia, and on TalkStream Live, iHeartRadio, tune in, American Political Radio, AM, FM 27. Don't go away. We will be right back.
Have you been leasing a property for your business or renting storage space? Are you tired of paying rent year after year? Call the experts at General Steel to own a building at up to 30% off now.
I'd been renting a building and paying someone else's mortgage, but General Steel showed me how I could own a space tailored to the needs of my business and for less than renting.
Call General Steel now at the number on your screen for our current building specials and to price your metal building system today.
My building's the dream I've had since finishing my house 14 years ago. I've been using it for a garage, workshop, and storage area for my tools and equipment, and I can't believe how great it turned out.
The economy is improving and the price of steel is expected to rise. Stop waiting. It could cost you thousands. Call General Steel now to see how you can own for less than you thought. Stop waiting to start your business or expand your operation. Call General Steel now.
Call 877-484-7002.
Everybody wants cheap airfare, but where do you find it? You call low-cost airlines. Their prices are direct from the airlines, and they're so low you can't find these fares published anywhere. They specialize in cheap flights, discount hotel rooms, cheap car rental rates, and great package deals anywhere around the world. Wherever you want to go, they can help you get there cheaply and with a best price guarantee. If you want the lowest prices on your airline tickets or other travel services, call now. That's right, call. That's the only way to get these rates. Experts are standing by 24/7 to get you the cheapest airfare and hotel rates available. So don't wait. Call right now for the lowest travel prices anywhere and for great last-minute travel deals too.
Call 888-431-0562. That's 888-431-0562. 888-431-0562. 888-431-0562.
Friend, do you remember when it felt good to withdraw your cash from the bank to expand a business, go on vacation, or buy a new car? Well, today, withdrawing your own cash has become a very risky business, according to The Secret War, a shocking new research report. I just read it. And folks, I was amazed to learn why banks are now required to spy on us for the government and then report any suspicious or unusual behavior. I suggest you get The Secret War free. Just call the number on the screen, no charge, from the folks at Swiss America. And get this, did you know simply spending cash today may be enough to have you branded as a potential criminal? That's right. The new war on cash is really a war against all freedom-loving Americans. The Secret War is yours free, so call the number on the screen and you can tell them Pat Boone gave you the number.
Dish TV is better than cable TV. Here's why. Dish has the nation's lowest TV price, along with an award-winning DVR that can skip commercials, record 8 shows at once, and get access to thousands of movies at your fingertips. Cable simply can't even compare. So the smart choice is to cut the cable and get Dish. Plus, you get all these great TV features, free HD DVR upgrade, free installation, and free movie channels. Say goodbye to cable and get more with Dish TV. 877-290-7764, 877-290-7764. As an added bonus, you can switch to Dish now and receive a $50 Visa gift card. So call now and get Dish TV. Call 877-290-7764, 877-290-7764. That's 877-290-7764. Limited time offer, 24-month commitment and credit qualification required. Cancellation fee, monthly equipment fees, and other restrictions apply. Promotion can change at any time.
The AM/FM 24/7 Roku channel broadcasts all of our shows on demand. To ensure reliability, we store and stream our content on the same servers as Netflix and Amazon. Our Roku channel is free to use, and anyone owning one of the more than 10 million Roku devices can watch our channel at no cost whatsoever. If you have a television show or are thinking about producing a show, you can be a part of AM/FM 24/7's Roku channel. Watch our great shows on your Roku device. It's free and more reliable than cable TV. Are you stuck with a timeshare? Did you attend the presentation and were seduced and enticed into buying that great vacation and investment? Now you're in the terrible position of trying to figure out a way to get out of that mess. You're not alone. For over 15 years, BuyYourTimeshare.com has been helping people like yourself get out of timeshare ownership. The fact is, there is no resale market. Unscrupulous telemarketers call you and say they have buyers waiting, and the next thing that happens is you give them hundreds of dollars for an ad and you'll never hear from them again. Another fact is that an identical timeshare to yours is being offered on eBay for $1, and no one is buying it. If you want out of your timeshare, I urge you to go to buyyourtimeshare.com or call them at 877-94-HELP-ME. That number again is 877-94-HELP-ME. Buyyourtimeshare.com. That's buyyourtimeshare.com. 877-94-HELP-ME.
Welcome back to the Conservative Commandos. I'm Rick Manning from Americans for Limited Government. If you'd like to hear rebroadcasts of today's show or for more information, please check out the website CCRSnetwork.com and CCRShow.com. And please like us, friend us, and follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Just look for the Conservative Commandos. Frank, talking about the Committee on the Present Danger of China and some of the things you're doing on that. And there's a lot more to be learned about that. Is there a website that we can kind of dig into to find out more about what you're doing there?
There is. It's at presentdangerchina.org. And it's got videos of a conference, including one shortly that we did just today, as well as several others, and a lot of other good information about news and resources that you need to understand the danger that China does pose to us now and that will increasingly do so in the future unless we take corrective action.
Very good. Thank you very much. And thank you for what you're doing on that. China is obviously atop of a lot of people's minds, and it's quite honestly, it's almost an intractable problem. It shouldn't be lost that 10 years ago they started something called a BRICS, which was the British, Russia, India, and China attempt to end the U.S. dollar as the world reserve currency. And today,
Brazil, I believe, was the B, but you're right.
Brazil was. That's great. What did I say? I said Brazil.
Britain.
Oh, Britain. Okay. Well, no, it was Brazil. And so what's happening?
Britain on 5G, though.
Yeah, well, true. But so they still remain. They want the yuan to be the world reserve currency. They want, and they know that if they do that, we will lose our capacity to export our inflation, for one thing, which means we will be dead economically. So it's a very important approach to recognize China for the challenge they are. It's not just an economic challenge. They are competing with us on the world stage for who's going to be the dominant country in the 21st century. And right now they're winning. So it's a problem. And the next, I want to really focus on something else you're doing, though, because it's an extraordinary kind of shift a little bit. One of the things that we sit there and we're seeing around the world is almost a tolerance. In China is one of the places, but almost a tolerance for persecuting Christians. And and we see it in Muslim-dominated countries. We see it in countries like China, where it's just anti-Christian, anti-religion, as a matter of fact. So talk to me a little bit about, in shifting gears, this is another great endeavor that you've launched, and I wanted to really dig into it a little bit. Tell me about what you're doing in that front.
Well, thank you for asking, Rick. I just would say I really don't see it as that much of a shift of gears. I think that as with the work we're doing to counter China, or for that matter, the work we've been doing for 20-odd years to counter what I call Sharia supremacism, whether it's their assault on our freedom of speech or whether it's their attacks on, our civilization here at home or elsewhere around the world, all of these things have that one basic common denominator, and that is they're interested in supplanting a civilization that you might call Christendom with something very different, something that is completely hostile to the sorts of things that we hold dear, whether it's our freedom of religion, or freedom of speech, as I said, or a free market, or our ability to elect the people who govern us and how they do it. All of that's over the side if any of these hostile powers have their way. So I'm regarding the effort to save persecuted Christians as just another opportunity to focus attention on a threat vector, if you will, and to help people who are suffering now a fate that our enemies have in mind for all of us. including here in the United States. What we are not generally aware of, Rick, I know you are, and I suspect your informed audience is, but too many of us aren't, is that there are now, conservatively, 245 million Christians around the world who are being heavily persecuted. The numbers that are, being oppressed in other ways is even higher. But if you think about that, Rick, I mean, you're a student of history. You put together the great serial murderers of all time, the mass, crimes against humanity guys like Pol Pot in Cambodia and Adolf Hitler in Nazi Germany and Joseph Stalin in the Soviet Union and Mao Zedong in China. And you combine the number of people they murdered, it pales by comparison to the number of Christians that are currently having their lives destroyed. Fortunately, they're not all being killed at the moment, but that's a distinct possibility if these persecutors have their way. The difference is, Rick, this isn't happening in some distant time. This is happening on our watch. So what we've done is we've helped pull together a wonderful community of people, many of whom, by the way, have been deeply involved in trying to help people who are afflicted by religious persecution by getting them water or food or shelter or clothing or refuge. That's tremendously important work in the face of efforts to do everything from torture to, rape to enslave to murder them. And by the way, it's courageous work too, because oftentimes this entails putting people's lives at risk to help those that you're trying to save. What we've envisioned is doing something that's complementary to all of that, but different and unique, and we think importantly additive. And that is to hold the persecutors accountable for what they're doing and to begin to impose real costs on them for their crimes against humanity. And by so doing, to change the calculus from what it is today, which is they can do this sort of thing with impunity, and do, to one in which they've got to think, oh, wait a minute, maybe this isn't going to be quite as beneficial to me or advancing of my purposes as it is at the moment. And so our purpose, if people are interested in learning more about it, we'd love to share with them. It's savethepersecutedchristians.org. And there's lots of ways that they can help with that project, and we would love to have it.
SaveThePersecutedChristians.org. So you have two websites. What was the first one again?
First one is PresentDangerChina.org, and the other is SaveThePersecutedChristians.org. And if I could throw in a third, just to perfectly confuse you all, our website at the Center for Security Policy, which is kind of my day job, is SecureFreedom.org.
And so this is why you need to be able to get this, how to get the rebroadcast, so you can get all that down. If you weren't able to write it, if you're listening in your car, wherever you're at, so you can get the rebroadcast, right here on CCRSnetwork.com. So that's a way to just scroll back right in this last section and get these key websites. Now, we've got about a minute, okay? And I just want to ask you, you have a bunch of names around you. Who are these people?
I'm privileged to be talking to you from a venue that we were in earlier today in connection with a program we did on the committee for the Committee on the Present Danger China, basically a threat briefing. And the names on the walls behind me are names of men who, and perhaps women too, who lost their lives in the service to our country as part of the reserve forces of the United States military. These are hallowed spaces indeed, and I'm very privileged to be here.
And, we're talking a lot of things that are threats to the United States, and it's very apt to be talking about those threats both to Christians and to
Christendom.
Life, and have the names of people who gave the ultimate price to defend these freedoms that we're merely being asked to defend through rhetoric, through willpower, through political power. And it seems to me there's no greater reminder of we're talking the names that you're surrounded by. Frank Gaffney, Center for Security Policy, thank you for joining me. Once again, you're a great friend and a great patriot, and I truly appreciate it.
Back at you.
You've been listening to Conservative Commando Radio. We will be back next week for another 2-hour episode, and we are very, very happy for you to join us. And folks, go to those websites, check it out, and this week, if you do nothing else, do at least one thing to preserve freedom in this country. Take care. We'll see you next week.
Have you been leasing a property for your business or renting storage space? Are you tired of paying rent year after year? Call the experts at General Steel to own a building at up to 30% off now.
I'd been renting a building and paying someone else's mortgage, but General Steel showed me how I could own a space tailored to the needs of my business and for less than renting.
Call General Steel now at the number on your screen for our current building specials and to price your metal building system today.
My building's the dream I've had since finishing my house 14 years ago. I've been using it for a garage, workshop, and storage area for my tools and equipment, and I can't believe how great it turned out.
The economy is improving and the price of steel is expected to rise. Stop waiting. It could cost you thousands. Call General Steel now to see how you can own for less than you thought. Stop waiting to start your business or expand your operation. Call General Steel now.
Call 877-484-7002.
Everybody wants cheap airfare, but where do you find it? You call low-cost airlines. Their prices are direct from the airlines, and they're so low you can't find these fares published anywhere. They specialize in cheap flights, discount hotel rooms, cheap car rental rates, and great package deals anywhere around the world. Wherever you want to go, they can help you get there cheaply and with a best price guarantee. If you want the lowest prices on your airline tickets or other travel services, call now. That's right, call. That's the only way to get these rates. Experts are standing by 24/7 to get you the cheapest airfare and hotel rates available. So don't wait. Call right now for the lowest travel prices anywhere and for great last-minute travel deals too.
Call 888-431-0562. That's 888-431-0562. 888-431-0562. 888-431-0562.
Friend, do you remember when it felt good to withdraw your cash from the bank to expand a business, go on vacation, or buy a new car? Well, today, withdrawing your own cash has become a very risky business, according to The Secret War, a shocking new research report. I just read it. And folks, I was amazed to learn why banks are now required to spy on us for the government and then report any suspicious or unusual behavior. I suggest you get The Secret War free. Just call the number on the screen, no charge, from the folks at Swiss America. And get this, did you know simply spending cash today may be enough to have you branded as a potential criminal? That's right. The new war on cash is really a war against all freedom-loving Americans. The Secret War is yours free, so call the number on the screen and you can tell them Pat Boone gave you the number.
Dish TV is better than cable TV. Here's why. Dish has the nation's lowest TV price, along with an award-winning DVR that can skip commercials, record 8 shows at once, and get access to thousands of movies at your fingertips. Cable simply can't even compare. So the smart choice is to cut the cable and get Dish. Plus, you get all these great TV features, free HD DVR upgrade, free installation, and free movie channels. Say goodbye to cable and get more with Dish TV. 877-290-7764, 877-290-7764. As an added bonus, you can switch to Dish now and receive a $50 Visa gift card. So call now and get Dish TV. Call 877-290-7764, 877-290-7764. That's 877-290-7764. Limited time offer, 24-month commitment and credit qualification required. Cancellation fee, monthly equipment fees, and other restrictions apply. Promotion can change at any time.
The AM/FM 24/7 Roku channel broadcasts all of our shows on demand. To ensure reliability, we store and stream our content on the same servers as Netflix and Amazon. Our Roku channel is free to use, and anyone owning one of the more than 10 million Roku devices can watch our channel at no cost whatsoever. If you have a television show or are thinking about producing a show, you can be a part of AM/FM 24/7's Roku channel. Watch our great shows on your Roku device. It's free and more reliable than cable TV. Are you stuck with a timeshare? Did you attend the presentation and were seduced and enticed into buying that great vacation and investment? Now you're in the terrible position of trying to figure out a way to get out of that mess. You're not alone. For over 15 years, BuyYourTimeshare.com has been helping people like yourself get out of timeshare ownership. The fact is there is no resale market. Unscrupulous telemarketers call you and say they have buyers waiting, and the next thing that happens is you give them hundreds of dollars for an ad and you'll never hear from them again. Another fact is that an identical timeshare to yours is being offered on eBay for $1 and no one is buying it. If you want out of your timeshare, I urge you to go to buyyourtimeshare.com or call them at 877-94-HELP-ME. That number again is 877-94-HELP-ME. Buyyourtimeshare.com. That's buyyourtimeshare.com. 877-94-HELP-ME.